You'll either be a Union man or a Chuck for J.H. Blair.
Tell me which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Chip, chip, chip. Bada boom, bada boom. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have a little wick bake and all that fun shit. Currently learning just some of my one put back together. Overcrowded constitution has convinced me right. The left seem to be ready. No shit. Honestly, especially some of the news I've been hearing about fucking today. Apparently CPAC has expanded not just to the US but into other fucking countries. Hungary, now they're doing it in Brazil. And if you know anything about these countries, especially Brazil, they're ostensibly fascist. And a lot of stuff that Viktor Orban in Hungary is essentially just a Hungarian fascist Nazi Hitler fuck. Like, he literally calls Jewish people just excrement, literally like just like walking excrement. That's what he thinks of them. Has said the necessity and the importance of fascists taking over media, taking over the government, and guess who all was there? People like Ted Cruz, people like Tucker Carlson, a lot of far-right American politicians and media figures were there, taking notes, taking fucking, a lot of very strong, ideas of like, how can we fascistically take over this fucking country? Because they're already been doing that. And now they're just open about it because they know they have the power to do that. And frankly, when it comes down to the fascists, they frankly do not give a fuck how they get their shit done. They will kill and they will die for it. And that's how they view it. Like, honestly, like they will literally like enact their fascistic worldview by literally any means necessary, and that includes the extermination of everything around them. Which, frankly, as an ideology in a school of thought, fascism is like one of those few things that legitimately ought to be exterminated. It is such a detriment on fucking society and shit, considering a lot of the fucking octopusal parasitical clutches it likes to fucking grip itself around. I'm shocked Marjorie Green wasn't there. But then again, she's just plain stupid and fascist, and she probably doesn't have a passport. She's probably too stupid to figure that shit out. So, I guess, in a way, we're probably lucky for that. Fascism became as a right-wing reaction to the rise of communism. Yep, essentially. Because what was an ideology that was growing before fascism? Communism, socialism, labor unionism, a lot of generalized broad leftism. Like, that's what was becoming a major big rise back in the late 1800s and early 1900s. And it's only a coincidence that it was around like the 1910s to the 1920s. Fucking basically, essentially, it was essentially just nothing but a far-right reaction. Like, how do we not sound like we're a bunch of monarchist royalists? Because obviously that's an old dead idea. How do we have that without actually looking like that? Oh, I know. Let's love on our military and, you know, just basically take advantage of the entire fucking nationalism and xenophobia that our country might have. And then just exploit the disparity in economic conditions that are in that country. And then swoop in, especially the white people of that country, all to be galvanized over a fascistic idea. And then you, well, get things like the Third Reich. Arguably not just defeat fascism at all, we all need to defeat rightism as a whole, yeah. At least, like, when it comes to some people on the right, I can, like, look at them and be like, alright, you're not fucking insane or crazy, you're just misguided with some views. Like, there's, at least for that, I see a difference between just being like, oh, you just have different views than me, and I just think you're misguided in them, and we can have a conversation, versus somebody who will literally die and kill for their fucking ideology by literally any means necessary, and if necessary, will literally exterminate their opposition. It's not as simple as just silencing them. It's exterminating this opposition that the fascists, you know, seek to do. And honestly, there's a lot of people, especially lately, that have basically been fucking like, oh, you know, the only reason why fascism is happening because people just aren't voting. It's like bullshit. People vote. People are. What do you think fucking, you know, like people voted for Obama, like, or not Obama, but Biden for? Because with fucking Biden, like, most people were voting for him just for the sake of getting some borderline fascist out. So, it's not because of voting. Like, there are a lot of people that honestly deadass think that. And it's like, do you think a fascist gives a fuck whether you vote or not? It doesn't matter if literally, like, 90% of the country voted or not. The fascists will still be doing what they fucking do because they do not give a fuck about voting or democracy. Period. So, we're supposed to give them the same credence? No, like, their ideas, their fucking philosophy should be curb stomped and beaten, fiscally if so, into submission. And there shouldn't be any fucking, like, any honestly legit empathy given to people who especially overtly call themselves fascists. Like, even physically, they should be beaten and ridiculed until they're fucking put into submission and understand their ways and actually are properly enlightened. I mean, honestly, frankly, they would probably enjoy the physical part of it. Because these people also venerate strong leader to follow like sheep. So instead of having a fascist leader, have one that, while they may see as a tyrant, be a strong leader nonetheless. They might not like that leader. They might hate that leader. But you know what? They got to follow them regardless. Because they're a strong one. And if they decide to crow and cry about it, then 10 are out of their ranks. Whether because they're imprisoned or just happen to be, like, Chinese governmentally, like, silenced. You know what I mean? So, either way. It's like, oh, one of you's crowing? Well, guess what? 10 of you just suddenly are, weird. Convicted of some charges and some crimes. Odd. Better shut up. Learn your place. Fasci. Fascists do whatever they think it takes to take power. They will use democratic system to take it, if possible, and then pull up the ladder behind them so no one can take power from them. And even then, it's not even just that. They'll straight up use, you know, democracy as a way to undermine it in itself, being like, see, it doesn't actually work. You know, so you have to, like, have us in there so we can actually, you know, make it all good and proper again. Like, they only use it as a way to just gain power. Like, I mean, especially in the Weimar Republic, they didn't just use democracy. If anything, they were using a lot of violence to get their shit. The Reichstag fire, for example. Like, at the end of the day, they don't give a shit. They'll use it, but that, to them, democracy is nothing but a tool for their power. It's not an actual system that needs to be upheld. It's a tool for them. Take away their tools. At least when it comes to my mindset of it. It's like, they want to use democracy as a tool, then, well, they don't get that tool. The Weimar government was fairly weak because people themselves didn't believe in it. Curious, just like how people don't believe in the current government anymore. Which is how a lot of fucking fascists and a lot of far-right extremists are getting power now. It's because of that shit. It's as if, if you had a system, an administration, or a government that actually was at least somewhat worth a fuck and at least had something worth believing in it, then people would actually be incentivized to probably defend it. Because frankly, my whole thing about fascism isn't like the idea of trying to inherently defend American democracy necessarily. But considering that this is like one of the countries where there has been, while slow and just grudgiously like molasses slow, like there's been a lot in the last 50 some years, and to see all that shit just be taken out, it's like I didn't grow up to just basically be naturally used to this shit, because it should be the case where it's just like, yeah, gay marriage, fucking abortion rights, yeah, it's whatever, it's just the way of life, that's just how people are, or that's what people do and shit, whatever, big deal. But now it's like, nah, all that stuff you kind of grew up knowing about, yeah, like watch all that literally just be taken away and suppressed and oppressed by utter fucking authoritarianistic religious zealot fascists. It's like, no, I ain't gonna just sit around and watch that shit fucking just be taken away. Especially when it has an impact to me being queer. So, yeah. At this rate, it's starting to like, not just be like, hey, let's actually, like, try to have, a political influence, to the point where we at least have some power in this country. It's like, no, it's like an actual fight. Like, it's a war as far as I'm concerned. And it's built up by an international fascist movement. It's not just like kind of globally regionalized like it was in World War II, where you had like Hitler and Mussolini, and then all over across into the Pacific at Japan, and that was basically it. Outside of the banana republics America was establishing, but they really have fuck all to do with the overall war. If anything, they were on our side. They were fighting against the actual Nazis and shit, even though they were South American Nazis. So it's like, even then, it's like it was more regionalized and a lot more scattered. And now, and especially because we never went far enough with Nuremberg and made sure not to clean up house and hunt every last fucking Nazi that hid like a coward. Like, we should have had special forces hunt down every single fucking Nazi after World War II and collaborate with the fucking local governments. And if they don't, then just go behind their back anyway. Be like, oh, so you're hiding Nazis, Argentina, and you're refusing to collaborate with us? Well, guess what? We're just gonna put troops there anyway and fucking hunt them down. We'll leave once, we find them, but you're not gonna harbor them. Fuck you. And if they want to cry about it, then cry about it, bitch. Like, that's just how that's how it should have been approached. It's like, oh, these countries that are like hiding Nazis, including Americans. Like, if there was Americans that were like hiding them or collaborating to hide them and shit, if they were trying to hunt them down in their own fucking country domestically here, then charge Americans with the same charges of being Nazis and collaborating with them and giving them the same treatment as Nuremberg, as traitors. So that should have been, that's what it should have been. Like, even people that are fucking immediately like, oh yeah, you collaborate with Nazis to help them get into the country. Well, guess what? You're a traitor to the state. Capitalism in its late stages will always lead to fascism. Yep. Happened with Weimar. It's happening now. And honestly, it's happened multiple different times in smaller regionalized countries, usually to the help and to the bolsterment of the United States empire. But nonetheless, that's not exactly here or there. But the fact that, that is the case, though, shows how much of it has been internationalized. Because the seeds of fascism that started in Germany have grown to be a luscious fucking forest all over this fucking world. And it needs to be fucking taken out like the weeds that they really are. Oh shit, Onion Nuggets is live. Alex Jones lying, Biden's sucking, world's burning. I love that. I just love the start of that.
Friend.
Like, I don't know, man. Moving on to the news, that's gonna be a depressing. Like, it used to be like a segment where it's
Taking
like,
out back to
alright,
smoke
but now
like
it's
the weed they
oh,
are.
We
Yep.
talk about Ninja Turtles,
love me some
G.I.
weed.
Joes, and
Sure.
Super.
Well, at least I mean, it's not that weed though. It's not that type of weed.
Remember that episode where Bebop and Rocksteady?
You know,
That's kind of the
almost
issue.
got turtles?
You know, we did an episode.
I wish it was that kind of weed, but unfortunately it ain't.
Did fucking the talent show, and it was like
Yeah.
pretty much the lowest viewed fucking public episode of this shit we got. So it's like obviously these motherfuckers love the stupid fucking news for some goddamn reason. I don't know why. Cause like for me, I would love to just like phase out the news portion of this show because it's fucking bleak. But I guess we are pessimist productions, so I don't know.
I mean, haven't you? You've seen the Hellraiser movies, right, dude?
Hellraiser.
Pain and pleasure are often the same, TJ.
Dude,
So I text somebody here.
Pain of the world.
Here's a Hellraiser-related thing that speaks to what Scotty was experiencing at the top of the show. I fucking was trying to find a way to hang my Hellraiser poster over my backdrop back here in this little area of empty space behind me.
Yeah.
And so I took it out of the glass, and I was going to try and tape it up
There we
there.
go.
And I was just working on getting it right, and I didn't have time.
Imagine every time
Just
fascist
pulled it
croak,
up
the
and
weed
put it
plant
around.
appears.
Fucking cricket ate
Oh my god, that'd be great. Like an actual marijuana plant just grows from the ground every time a fascist
I'm telling
croaked.
you, anything you love, they destroy.
Man, if that was the case, I don't think we would have any at all.
That was my favorite.
Because weed is everywhere, bro. I mean, shit, I wish that was the case. Fuck.
Shoot down into fucking Pinhead's face. I was like, oh fuck,
Oh, man.
Man,
okay.
that's just how I feel
I
about
could order
that.
another one, you know, but it's just.
Oh, actually, stuff like that is what I want to ask him about. When we're gonna leave.
Yeah, it was my poster for a long time. I had that poster.
Said now,
Yeah, that was, how long you have
maybe
that?
2
That
or
was
3, somewhere around there. Good.
Year, man.
Yeah.
Years I had that fucking poster.
Fucking cats have no
Yeah,
fucking
you did.
mercy, dude.
Sweet.
They have
Yeah.
no love. They're just like
Sometime between there.
He loves paper and cardboard and shit, so.
That'll also give me some time to let my friend handle some of his stuff if he still is down to come join me.
Just let him do it. It's like if he's
So.
gonna do it, it may as well be the shit we don't care about. So it's not like the little dude had no access to anything like this. He just knew that this one was particularly special.
Dude, I
And he wanted
found
to-
a good replacement poster right here.
It's a delicacy.
Don't replace it with that one. I mean, you need fucking this one here. This
Are they talking about like the talent show still? Like that already happened.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of. I eventually would like to get
They got
the
some titties in this.
Oh shit, is this Hellraiser?
1, 2, and
Oh, that is
have all
Hellraiser.
three
Oh, dude, that's a cool book poster. Here, I want to enhance this.
Yeah.
But that's another thing that I'm fucking like.
Yo, Hellraiser got titty?
I've had this idea.
Yo.
That I can't shake, and I don't know. If
Yo, hold up. We got
Thing that I'm-
yo, dude, Hellraiser. What the fuck? Why is Hellraiser sexy? Well, you know what? Honestly, Hellraiser is kind of, at least in the story, and the original story, is meant to be more of like a gender neutral type of thing. Like Hellraiser isn't a man or a woman. He's like, he's kind of ambivalent a little bit that way. I guess androgynous. That's the word I'm looking for. Like Hellraiser, at least originally, is meant to be. Is meant to be more androgynous in comparison to being a male or female specifically, which I guess you know works with that too.
like.
You should carry sunflower seeds and throw them at fascist screaming. At least sunflowers will grow where you die.
But
Yeah.
now that Cinema for Cynics is firing back up, and I've got
For me, it would be fern seeds and like stuff like that, huckleberry seeds and marionberries. I'd be planting those seeds. Sunflowers could grow here, but I mean, I'm gonna plant some native berries first.
Yeah, and they gotta leave behind a view.
Put some marionberry seeds. Like, here you go, bitch.
Yeah, that channel is capital M monetized. So please come by and tell me how much it fucking sucks and download it.
Go tell Paul how
That's
bad
how I
he
feel
is.
to know if it's monetized.
Bull sucks. I'm gonna downvote and give him engagement. Where the red farm grows
Yeah,
reference.
no, like one of the things, like I'm just now finishing on my
Well,
long form.
I guess you can
My brain is just
say it that way.
what the fuck happened?
But in Oregon, marionberries, huckleberries, I think strawberries too. These are native berries that grow around here. So,
you want
I mean, if you happen to like walk around the Cascade Mountains in the wild, there's an off chance you might find huckleberries or marionberries.
It's winning, man. The fucking
And of course, ferns are
is winning
common as fuck around in the Pacific Northwest. So that's another reason. Like I have a bunch of ferns around my yard. I have some by my bedroom window. I have a few in the backyard. There's actually a bunch in the front yard overall. So ferns are like They're very, very common around
Not
here.
even a follow-up. I want to redo, not
know, you
redo,
wanna, like-
But fern bushes are so cool though. I like
I want
them.
to do the whole thing again and try to find something different to say about every movie in a different attack angle.
Well, I mean like a
and different-
follow-up video, not necessarily like a,
Right.
not like an update, like, oh, you know, guys, more fun, like, you know, but go through the gauntlet once more.
The only berries that grow around here are
Maybe
poisonous.
some of those
You'll shoot your brains out if you eat 'em.
different, you know, 2 years later,
Damn.
how long it's been,
That,
you know.
that does happen, man.
There are
It really
poisonous
does.
berries around here. Actually, there's a. Actually, I can show you really quick.
Movie, then I go watch it years
I'll
later,
take
like,
this
oh,
off
okay,
for a second. Yeah, I'll take the screen off really quick too, just to make this
There
easier.
was a movie I saw it once.
But I actually have a bush that has some poisonous berries. I actually don't know what they're called. What's the name of the berries that are like on that tree bush that's right over here?
Which one?
This one right here. When it grows berries?
Oh, that's a U.
A yew?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're poisonous, don't eat them.
Well, no shit. I was just saying that. Yeah, but it's this plant. Well, it's this. They don't have berries on them right now, but they grow off of these little things right here. So they're not growing now, but this is technically got poisonous berries and stuff. It's a yew tree, I think. So, yeah. I mean, it's not like, you know, everything here is good for you to eat. There's definitely some poisonous shit. Yeah, just saying. But, yeah, we got our fair share of stuff, too. Actually, when I was like 4 or 5, I accidentally ate some of those, and...
Yeah, I was about to
Yeah,
say.
yeah, there's a story about that, actually.
The time we had to go to the hospital.
Yeah, stomach pumping thing, that was fun. But I don't remember it, because I was obviously a wee little kid. But, you know,
Like Columbine was like way crazier than
what happens if you eat said berries?
These news
Pretty much what? Shit your brains out, puke your brains out thing?
feeds conspiracy theories and
Like, you don't, like, outright die unless you eat a whole bunch of those, right?
For the scoop.
Yeah, you have to eat a lot
So
of them to
fucking
die.
desperate to, like,
Well, yeah, you just basically shit your brains out and puke a lot. You're probably not going to feel good. Basically, you know, bad food poisoning, essentially.
like, oh yeah, this happened. Oh, yeah, this.
I mean, when you're like 4 or 5, like a big handful of them probably is a little more serious in comparison if I was an adult, you know what I mean? Like, if I was an adult and I saw those in a while and then didn't know better and had a handful of them, I would learn pretty quick not to eat them again, you know? But, you know, but if I'm a kid, you know, there could be a possibility of that.
I mean,
Hence, yeah, when I'm like 4, you know, when I ate those.
dichotomy of left and right.
Again, I was like 20 years ago, so 2 decades ago. I'm smarter now. I've proved mental health and learn better.
The idea that this left and right shit is reality is just absurd. And the idea that we live in a country where we accept it is absurd.
I mean, honestly. I mean, it's more absurd because there's really one side that's really trying to fucking shove it in everyone's fucking faces. People on the right. I don't necessarily want to see the world as like this weird left-right paradigm because it isn't. But yet, there's so many motherfuckers that want to make it literally just that and have to challenge it. It's like, no, it's not, you idiot.
People are going to the grocery store. Or
When I was 3, I petted a wild copperhead.
Well, you know what?
That, for some reason, was really nice and sweet to me instead of trying to bite me. You got some balls. Like, you hit puberty at the age of 3 there, bro.
That's what I want.
Like, your balls descended early. Damn, bro.
It's a complex societal issue.
Dude, my dad was, like, killing rattlesnakes up in, like, the rims in Montana and shit. In, like, the cliffs and stuff, you know, by the time he was, like, 3 or 4 and shit. Like, I mean, he wasn't petting them. Like, holy shit.
I don't think for a second gun control would stop shit like this.
It's not the end all
There's
be
no
all.
fucking way it would. I don't see any logistical way it could, unless you literally.
Oh, with, like, actually, like, trying to take guns and...
Seizing robots.
Yeah, there's just gonna be, honestly, no way.
If it was done properly, it would stop some of these. We wouldn't have as many. That's kind of the point. Is like there's no action on this. So
Yeah.
a lot of people like some
I agree with
reasonable
you there.
fucking gun control.
Honestly, there could be, like-
proper
like, if there was just-
gun
yeah.
registration laws and shit.
But what I'm saying is,
Literally what Paul's
would
saying.
fix a few of these.
oh yeah,
Absolutely.
What I'm saying is like gun control. Well, the
Because
problem is
honestly,
you have so many
especially
guns-
lately, it seems like the last 2 major ones, the Buffalo one and Uvalde, like, these 2 were kids, and they passed their background checks, despite especially one of them
3D printed.
very strongly having red flags. Both of them did, but one of them, the Buffalo one, vehemently did.
So maybe we should
It's
get on
like,
top of,
and this proves to me that there's just loopholes in our background check systems.
I mean, I
And there needs to be very strong, like, reforms and regulations on our current background check systems. Like, honestly, like, it's fucking insane. Like, legit. I mean, even if it might, you know, like, do some, like, you know, question, you know, like, hey, what's this, you know, thing. I mean, social media shit should probably be considered with background checks, because they must not be, evidently. Because there's a lot of red flags that could be caught that just aren't, that happen to be on things like social media. Like Twitter or Facebook or even a like, goddamn Discord or something. It's like, hell, yeah, there might be some lefties, you know, that obviously, like me, have very strong opinions that might be like, what's this about? You know, or whatever the fuck, or be like, you know, this could be a potential red flag. I mean, it's just like, honestly, to me, in the long run, that's just probably better. Just because, I mean, the fact, especially these far-right, hyper, like, nationalist types that get fallen into this type of mentality and shit, I mean, that's just too much of a fucking threat in my mind. Like, if I get denied a gun just because our background checks happen to be a little bit more vigorous, despite me already having a couple, like, honestly, I don't give a fuck. I already have a few. I'm fine. You know, whatever. It's okay. Like, oh, I got denied one rifle because I had a hot take on Twitter or some shit.
These massacres have become more and more common. A lot of states have basically gone the opposite way. You want to conceal carry permit? You don't even need a permit anymore. Just carry a gun around.
It even did? Like, there should be, like, an interview thing for something like that. Like, I think there should be, like, a red, yellow, like, maybe it's not a red flag, but we should interview about you. And a red flag is like, we're not even going to interview you, you're just like, yeah, no.
You want to be scared, guys?
You know, because it's like, hey, you know, we saw some things that could be red flags, we just kind of want to interview and clarify, blah, blah, blah. You know, and basically just kind of go from there. Because this shit's just getting, it's ridiculous. And this is me about to go shooting later, you know, out in the mountains. So it's just like, I mean, you know, it's just ridiculous. It's such a weird duality.
It's like, really? You're defending that? Like, I'm not even saying, like, take guns from everybody. I'm saying, like, a stupid motherfucker that, like, literally holds a can in his hands and shoots the can and then drinks the beer should not have a gun.
Honestly, yeah, that person probably shouldn't.
There's no scenario. There's no level of irresponsibility.
Look at the Supreme Court we have now, guys.
They just don't care.
Look at the Supreme Court we have. You guys think gun regulations, even if a law was passed, what are they going to do? Law's unconstitutional, Second Amendment, strike that down. That's all that's gonna happen.
Interpreted as broadly as possible. I'm gonna build a thermonuclear device and be like, I have the right to bear arms.
Yeah, see if the Supreme Court defends that.
If you did that, they'd somehow find a way.
I wish to, personally have the right to bear a David Crockett recoilless nuclear rifle, because it is my Second Amendment right to bear a David Crockett recoilless nuclear rifle. Yes, I demand that I own a David Crockett recoilless nuclear rifle. Because, goddammit, it is an American's right to own one, you son of a bitch. Like, honestly, that's what leftists should do. Be like, alright, you know, we're gonna pass legislation to where we can mass produce David Crockett recoilless rifles and let people, you know, start owning them. Hey, Second Amenders, are you a little bit okay with this now? You know what? Never mind. 90% of them will be like, wait, what? Yeah! And so, shit. Oh, you know what? Yeah, god damn it.
It doesn't say nothing about guns, it says arms. I should be able to have a thermonuclear device.
What about the militia part? Everyone forgets the militia part. Like, what is it saying you're supposed to have a militia?
I mean, like, honestly, the fucking wording of the fucking amendment kind of sucks. Like, I don't know.
It does.
It's like, can be interpreted in multiple ways because it's not clear. There's a reason why laws now, like, people complain about how thick these laws are, but, like, you literally have to do that to keep people from finding loopholes and shit. Like, it has to be so fucking spelled out to the nth fucking degree.
100%. Like, even though there might be a law that literally is like 5 pages long, sometimes that is absolutely a necessity because people will literally find anything and everything under the sun to try to circumnavigate it.
Second Amendment reads way more clearly than people give it credit for. The object of the sentence is a well-regulated militia.
Right.
Yep.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to protect the freedom of a populace, the right to bear arms shall not be infringed.
Right.
So,
Yeah, but you know what?
They clearly were not. They clearly were not talking about every man, woman, and child in the country being able to buy these ever more deadly weapons. And
yeah, honestly, even in the Second Amendment itself, it doesn't inherently say like, "Yep, everyone should have one." It's just like they're saying a regulated militia should. And honestly, that's why I think, there should at least be a very strong encouragement to have rifle clubs and like marksman clubs and stuff like that. It's like, if anything, like this amendment needs to be expanded and include things with well-regulated militia, including marksman clubs, rifle unions, shit like that. Because, I mean, those also can be very well regulated. They were talking about everyone being entitled to a pair of bear arms. Yep, you just kill a bear and you keep their arms. You just keep the arms of the bear.
Civilians are militia by he's saying civilians are militia by default. Well, that's kind of the point, because it doesn't just say a militia being necessary. It says a well-regulated militia. I don't think open fire sales under the tent where hillbillies are selling each other MAC-10s under the table with no paperwork has anything to do with being well-regulated or a militia.
Yep.
And so I'm not an anti-gun dude. A lot of people would paint me that way. I'm pro responsible people without violent prior histories and without fucking certain types of mental illness who can demonstrate that they don't have certain types of mental illness and are willing to jump through the same amount of hoops as, say, when you go to get a car registered or when you go to get a fucking driver's license or renew your license in a state. If you're not willing to jump through that level of hoop to ensure that gun is not going to... Because, like, once your name is attached to that gun, one of the most important things I think that needs to happen can happen. These guns can be traced to, like, why does this person not have this gun? We don't have any fucking notice of sale. They didn't put it through the system.
Yeah.
So the owner of this gun just what?
There needs to be like some sort of a licensing, or at least like some sort of a system where the serial numbers of every firearm can be tracked.
Prosecuting that.
And honestly, every firearm does. For mine,
weapon, you should be licensed
it's right there.
Weapon. You should
every weapon has one.
Weapon down to the fucking
every single one, including the original parts for them too. So every little part on it also has it.
Show that you have proper trigger discipline. Show that you know how to check down the chamber if it's a rifle to make sure that it's unloaded.
I can literally demonstrate this as he's mentioning it.
And show that you know how to fire it properly.
Literally, this type of shit.
Via a quiz or something that
I have an open bolt.
Intend to
checking. Empty chamber.
Gun properly. If you're not willing to go that far.
Empty.
Then, what's the point of even fucking talking?
And also, finger absolutely off the trigger at all times.
What I heard
Safety on.
To take our guns.
Even though it does have a magazine loaded, nothing's loaded. Now it's loaded. Safe. Always hand off the trigger. This is proper firearm discipline. This is how you operate one, and you be safe with one.
You always go to the DMV.
And also, never ensure that no one's around you, and don't point at anybody.
Well, yeah.
And always keep that finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot that thing.
You didn't have to get a license to learn how to drive a car.
And also, because I have one in the chamber, here's how you do it.
People get killed, and I'm
there you go. That's it.
Yeah, but you know what? They ain't
all it takes is some basic responsibility and training. That's all it takes.
There's a constitutional right to the freedom of travel.
Oops.
The uninhibited travel.
And frankly, it's just like every person should be able to go for some basic training type of shit like that. And not just some simple stuff like that, but also have to disassemble it, reassemble it, basic, just generalized weapon training discipline, all sorts of things. These, I think, are very important.
It's just about making sure that people are responsible.
I love fucking chuckle fucks like that. It's like, are you really gonna risk your entire life and possibly death for that? Like, really? And honestly, most people wouldn't.
Telling you that would stop all of these massacres.
Oh, of course.
I bet there would be fewer of them. I bet there would be fucking fewer of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was the standard. Shut down gun shows that use the fucking loophole. Require people to register every firearm transfer and mandatory background checks and shit to make sure you're not selling to a fucking psychopath that's just got out on parole or something.
And honestly, there should be another thing. There should be a place to where you could go register a firearm. Because let's say there's the grandfathering in of like, your grandpappy's rifle or your grandpappy's shotgun or your dad's shotgun he gave you or some shit, you know, that's been built in like the 50s or the 60s or something. And, you know, it's not going to be a part of that. There should be a place that you could go to where it's like, hey, this is my firearm. It was passed down to me, and I want to register it under my name. That should be a very easy thing that you can be able to go to. And honestly, it should be available for any FFL dealer. You know, like whether it's like an actual store or like going to like the sheriff's department or some shit, like that should be an availability thing. So there's a guarantee. It's like, hey, just in case something happens, I want to make sure that this rifle or this weapon's under my name. So, you know, in case, like, you know, on a hunting trip I somehow lose it or some shit and lost it in the fucking woods and some other dude found it or something like that at a campsite or some shit, or it got, you know, misplaced and fucking like stolen, then used in some crime or some shit, at least then, you know, there's at least, you know, the grandfathering of like, hey, at least I had it attached to my name to make sure that, you know, I know what happened to it. Though you would still probably be very responsible because you're kind of fucked up misplacing it, but at the very least, I mean, that should be very much a thing, because, you know, my dad has a couple that he needs to get himself, and from his dad, and it's like, you know, obviously those, while maybe are technically in his name, aren't officially. Hey!
It boggles my mind. It's like, so we basically want to have people mentally unstable to have a bunch of weapons. Like, that's crazy. Why would anyone want that? Why would anyone want that?
Speaking about mentally unstable people with weapons, learn a little about this guy, this killer's past here. I hate even saying the names of these motherfuckers
Until he filed it off. Well, that would be illegal.
anymore, but I feel like it's important to understand.
Like, I ain't touching that serial number.
I mean, of course, you have to study these issues.
If anything, I'd paint it white so it actually stands out on the stamp receiver.
But they didn't, so whatever.
So you can actually kind of see it a little bit.
In middle school and junior high, Ramos was bullied for having a stutter and a strong lisp, friends and family say. Steven Garcia, who considered himself Ramos' best friend in 8th grade, said Ramos didn't have it easy in school. He got bullied hard, like bullied by a lot of people, over social media, over gaming, over everything. He was the nicest kid, the most shyest kid. He just needed to break out of his shell. Well, he broke out.
Well, he did.
Way, didn't he? So anyway, at some point, he just started being a different person. He kept getting worse and worse. I don't even know. When Garcia left, Ramos dropped out of school, started wearing all black, large military boots, grew his hair out. There's a story in here about how he fucking, like, cut his face open and shit. Like, I don't know, where is that in here?
What the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
Man, this kid was just fucking, like, lost, dude.
Where he often played basketball, had cuts all over his face. He first said his cat had scratched his face, and then he told me the truth that he cut up his face with knives over and over, Valdez said. I was like, you're crazy, bro. Why would you do that? Ramos said he did it for fun, Valdez recalled. So, I mean, like,
it's all
I don't know,
harm.
it seems like there
Very
might have been
common.
some, like, warning signs and shit, maybe.
Yeah, man.
But, yeah.
I mean, there always are. Dude, there always
There
are.
always
Cut
are.
my face so open. It's like,
But you know what? You know what?
wonder if this
TJ?
could be
It's
a desperate cry for attention of some kind.
But we gotta be honest about that shit.
Probably.
If your neighbor was acting squirrely, most times people don't want to get involved in that shit 'cause, like, that guy's crazy.
I mean, unlike the fucking Buffalo one, this is just a case where, yeah, mental illness does play a role, but really it's just a fucking extreme case of being bullied to the point where,
I'm woefully ignorant about it.
honestly,
I know
like, for lack of better words, just go Joker. Like, I mean, like, straight up. Like, he's, I mean, I kind of can relate to a degree about the whole bullying shit. I mean, honestly, a lot of people go for it, but, I mean, at least for me, I was definitely, at least in middle school, seen as kind of like an outcast type.
One of the repercussions to
And it's just like, at least, and the problem with him is that he didn't have an outlet. He didn't have,
because
you know, like, something there to catch
the
him.
best and brightest
There wasn't a safety net. And considering it's Texas, I can imagine why.
You never hear detailed policy discussion like you're hearing here from them.
Yeah, it's always
You know what I mean?
At least, you know, where I lived, there was.
So,
And I'm better for it.
yep. That's what it is.
It's as if, yeah, we gotta do something.
Yeah, that's why I posted that.
At least around here, we kind of fucking do a little bit, kind of, but fucking Jesus Christ.
tweets. at Biden, where you know, his backbone tweet, you know.
Oh, fuck Biden and his backbone garbage.
Backbone, acting like the people that are sending their kids off with a packed lunch to possibly die don't have backbone. It's them that don't have backbone. Fuck that old fucking vampire mummy.
Fucking mummified
dude,
parasite
you think
cockroach.
You think parents like sending their kids to fucking elementary schools and high schools and
Frankly, that shit pisses me off. Like, where's America's background? Yeah, let's just blame us instead of you worthless fucking.
Where you actually safe, you know? You're not basically.
No, honestly, it's just like I like.
The Walmart.
If there's one thing I guess I do, like, on the surface level, agree with Republicans and right-wingers on, is fuck Biden, that worthless goddamn cretin. Fucking cockroach motherfucker.
I know what their intention is. There's no fucking pretense for some fucking animal.
I'm gonna go
save America away from fucking people. That's
I'm
what
gonna go fucking live with this pack of wolves where it's safe, you know?
Honestly, unironically, that would be.
About the alleged lack of.
If you like give that wolf, like that pack of wolves, like some food, you know, to warm them up to you and be kind of friendly, and then just like kind of hang out with them.
And I just started.
Like they might eventually just get used to you and kind of let you be part of the pack and actually, like, yeah, over time that, yeah, unironically, I'm willing to defend that.
And then refused to engage him before he walked into the school and just started slaughtering people.
Well, cops are. I mean, like as you know, cops have no duty to protect.
Unless I don't know if this is true or not, but that's you know how it is with these things. Like I watched the death toll go from 10 to 12 to 14 to 18 over the span. You know, every major place reported all those numbers.
Do you know why that is?
The way
you know
this
why
got
that is,
revealed.
TJ?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Scotty.
Well, you know why the police only have a duty to protect you if you're in their actual custody. So
Right.
if they're holding you or in jail,
But if you're just an everyday citizen, they have no duty to protect
the reason
you at
why
all.
is
And frankly,
because if any crime committed,
that's just because of the problems with cops in general. The cops, by training, don't have an incentive to defend you. They have an incentive to oppress you. That's kind of fundamentally the fucking problem.
They're fucking useless. They're absolutely fucking useless, and they shouldn't exist. I know that we need some form of policing in this country, but like the police as they exist now, basically,
Abolish them.
they started off as like slave catchers, and they ain't gotten much better since. So like I think the whole thing just needs to be torn the fuck down and rebuilt from the ground up is something that actually makes sense. Because like the current institution of policing in this country is just fucking a bunch of useless fat cocksuckers that are more of a threat than they are a fucking protection. So
it's as if they treat the civilian populace as enemy combatants. And frankly, as long as they exist, they probably should be kind of like viewed the same a little bit. Because like Jesus Christ, like if they literally look at the lower class especially as like, how do we oppress you and fucking like basically treat you like your enemies, like in some war zone. It's just like, why do I feel safe around you?
Resolution signed by the House.
Why shouldn't I have the urge to feel like I should defend myself and if you start coming after me for some fucking reason or approaching me?
Go to the Senate. Hey, Senate, what you gonna do? Nothing. All right, we turn it down.
I guess I could just use my white card to be like, hey, hold on, I'm white.
At the very least, to prevent something.
I got that card, I guess. So
put police on the fucking campus. Like, have a heavy police presence on every campus in America.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you might have to do something like that.
Yeah.
But the problem is, they're just gonna.
Frankly, like,
they're gonna cause more problems than they solve, even in that capacity, because they're just.
Yeah, honestly, like, I mean, if you have like a whole like squad of cops at a school, that's gonna create more issues. And when I was in high school, we had one, and he actually was a part of the PD, specialized specifically to be at the school. And that's all he did. And basically, he would walk around, hang out with us, and actually would be more willing to, like, chill with us and just kind of hang out with people, And also, our school was had a very strong Hispanic demographic on top of white. I think it was, like, 50% white, like, 40% Hispanic, and everything else was, like, black, Native American, and everything else in between. And basically, like, I mean, even, it didn't really matter who it was. Like, I mean, he'd just walk up and say, hey, how's it going, everybody? How's your, like, classes going and blah, blah, blah. Like, he'd actually be kind of, like, be treating you like a fucking human being. Which honestly probably does play a role, at least to some of the bias, at least with the local PD here. considering even their own corruption and bullshit, because, like, at least they don't immediately look at you as, like, some sort of fucking, like, criminal right off the bat. They actually will look at you as a human being first. So, I mean, it's, I guess a rare breed of cop these days, I suppose. But there's only been really, at least from what I remember, 2 major incidents that happened at school where he was needed, and both times involved knives. First time was a kid who was in a fight with another kid, and he was stupid enough to brandish a knife, and he happened to be nearby, and basically immediately was able to detain the kid and stop him, and no one got hurt, and there was a quick shutdown of the school for like maybe maximum 30 minutes, and that was it. And the second time, there was a fugitive that was on the run, and he happened to cut through the school grounds, and he was alerted of that. And also, one of the administrators that we had at the time, who was a veteran, happened to also see this guy starting to run. And this vet, if I remember correctly, I don't know if he was USMC or Navy SEAL. I forgot what specifically, but he was a vet of some sort. You know, and like some sort of like, you know, more higher military branch type of shit. And like, he was just like charged at this dude, and he had a knife. He was running with it in his hand, and just like jumped and just tackled him. And then the other officer that we had on our campus happened to be just like right behind him, right up, and then immediately like slid in and, you know, got him cuffed up and waited for the rest of the PD to catch up and actually deal with the dude. And they're like, okay, so we can, you know, make sure the school's not shut down now anymore. And that was like a 15-20 minute affair there. And if anything, it happened during like a little like just before school ended. So if anything, I don't even think there was actually really a shutdown. It was just like a quick, like, you know, hey, we're making sure all the doors are locked, you know, and stuff, but we can kind of keep classes going thing. You know, so they pretty much, like, if there was kids outside, they're like, hey, get inside type of shit. You know, and that was only for like maybe a 15-20 minute ordeal. And honestly, that's just with one, you know, and it's just like that, like, if honestly, like, if every fucking school had that, like, some, like, local PD dude who was specialized and staffed specifically to be at the school and protect not just the grounds, but people at that school, regardless of student or otherwise and shit, then honestly, I feel like there would be a little bit more, you know, stronger safety, and if these things do happen, minimalization of casualties, or if any at all, potentially, because there at least be somebody who's specifically staffed to protect that specific area and everything in it. Because honestly, it goes a long fucking way. Because if we didn't have, you know, just that one dude, you know, for our school and stuff, I mean, that kid who had the knife could have easily stabbed and killed the other kid, and that fugitive could have done who knows what. You know, gone into one of the classrooms, held up a bunch of people, who knows fucking what. So it's just like, I mean, you know, just having at least one or two, depending on the size of the school, you know, and they're specialized, specifically trained to be in that area and defend that area, and the students and everyone in it, then it could, you know, go a long way. Legit. At least until this type of fucking shit declines and the feeling of being unsafe at a goddamn school is no longer a fucking feeling in people's minds. Because frankly, we shouldn't have the idea of like, should we have like a cop or like, you know, security at schools? Like, that shouldn't be a fucking a concept. But in America, it is. Welcome to the US of A.
And so it's like, yeah, I did want to fucking do something, but I'm glad I didn't, because I grew up and I grew out of it, and I fucking learned to fucking empathize and see things from other people's point of view, and like learn to fucking have some affinity for my fellow man, even though sometimes it's really fucking hard. So yeah, I don't know. I do get it, and I just wish there was some force that would intervene, you know, in these people's lives, especially someone who's like clearly like desperately crying out for help, cutting their fucking face. It's like, that's how blatant does it have to be? You know?
Seriously, like, at that rate, what the fuck? I didn't know that about this poor guy.
So someone will notice like, what's going on with me.
Saying him like he's a fucking, you know, pure victim and nothing else, but
going on. I'd rather just make fun of your stutter and make things worse.
I'm not standing.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, especially hearing some of the details about this dude, I actually do feel empathy for him to an extent. It doesn't justify what, you know, he did whatsoever.
And
But
on the fringes of those
I can't
fringes,
help
knew a
that.
couple of
I
people
do.
who were trench coat,
Because I really
mafia-esque type
kind of feel for some of that
dudes
shit.
that, like, maybe not at school, but would show up, you know, at get-togethers.
I remember one time I had like a test that I was doing, and I was finished early, so I decided to do it all in the back, like, you know, like like different little like sketches of like dudes with guns and, you know, swords and some shit like that. You know, just random shit, you know, just doodling. And then like the next day or the day after, you know, or like 2 days later, an administrator came by. It's like, hey, can we talk to you for a sec? And then showed me this thing. It's like, you don't got any problems or any issues with blah blah blah, right, or anything like that. I'm like, what? Huh? And he showed me the sketches, and I'm like, yeah, I was finished with my test early, so I was just sketching. I literally just said that, and I just shrugged. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I mean, is it just because I drew guns, I guess? And it's like, well, yeah, because, you know, there's things like, you know, have you heard of Columbine? That's how he did it. And I'm just like, yeah, I have. And I'm just like, and I already knew where it was going down. And of course it went down that weird fucking like rabbit hole of like, well, we want to make sure, you know, you're, you know, not gonna blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, I looked at him like, look, frankly, like, you know, I might got some issues and stuff like that, but I'm not gonna be doing that. Like, don't worry about that. Like, I like to doodle and sketch shit. Like, sometimes it'll be this, sometimes it'll be other stuff. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not, like, I don't think I'm gonna be an issue there, bud. And if anything, it was like, all right, just wanna, you know, just make sure and stuff. You're okay. You know, it's all good. You know, because I think just me being like so like immediately dismissive of like the claim was just like kind of an assurance to him, like, okay, yeah, he's just sketching. He's just doodling. But it's just, I mean, it's kind of absurd a little bit. It's like, in a way, it's like when people really do show red flags, you know, they fucking, you know, like those things aren't called out, but whenever it happens to be maybe like a doodle or some other random shit that like maybe some other kid is doing that doesn't have problems, like they might be looked at, and it's like, huh?
Are just like compounding on people that they don't even realize. Like they're like I've said it before.
It's like we really got some fucking priorities about, you know, what red flags are in people. We got some mixed priorities on that.
It's like, okay, I go to a warehouse. I'm gonna go shoot up the warehouse because I can't take it anymore. I can't fucking take this job, or I can't take this life anymore. I don't have anything. I have no hope. Let me just kill these people.
In the 90s, it was post offices.
Yeah.
Let's
go going postal, right?
Going postal, yep.
Like, these places of bureaucracy and stress, basically.
That was really America's introduction.
What do you think the movie Falling Down was about? If you've seen that,
workers started to go crazy. And
it's you know, it's the main character fucking basically going postal because of the fucking society that is, and basically just the insanity of it.
Dude, in every instance, dude, the fucking Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris were armed to the fucking teeth, dude.
Well, they had ambitions far beyond what
they wanted to hijack airplanes.
Now that was probably unfeasible, but it's just lucky they weren't good bomb makers, because their real plan was to blow up the fucking school.
Yeah.
They're idiots, so fortunately.
So luckily they were stupid and had no idea how to actually build a bomb, but...
Just in terms of the amount of guns that these, like...
deranged kids that need a fucking real
I think that
outlet that can help them, instead of fucking delving further in the fucking nightmare that the shit is in this fucking country.
The other night, I said 18-year-old man at first, and I just looked at it, I'm like, I just can't, it doesn't sound right in my fucking mouth, you know?
Because it ain't.
I changed it to boy, but, you know, because, like, it's, you know, when you're fucking 37 like I am, I know that a fucking 18-year-old is, like, an adult by legal standards, but, like, I still think of an 18-year-old as a fucking, as a boy, or, like, maybe not a child, but, like, still
a kid.
Still coming.
Kid.
They're a kid, yeah.
You're a boy, you're a kid.
Naive.
They're not quite, I don't think of them as quite an adult yet. Like, to me, adult is like you're in your 20s or something. Like, 18 and 19, that's like...
I mean, honestly, in my mind, that's how I've always viewed it, too.
Yeah.
Like, even when I was legally an adult, I didn't really see myself totally as an adult. Like, I knew I was still kind of a kid.
Is how easy it is for
because you can't really go out and buy a beer and shit like that at 18, I guess, depending on where you're at.
Which should be impossible.
Some countries you can't.
If you've got children and you've got guns, and those children can access those guns in any way, you're a fucking dereliction of your duty, and you're endangering your whole fucking family and your children besides.
I was saying with 18. I mean, a lot of us were. The thing is, like,
Honestly,
especially when
like,
you're, when
frankly,
you're
if there were children here, I like, I
I feel
would
like
most certainly
there's
make
a lot
sure
of
that
crazy
my
shit
things
going
are,
on hormonally.
like,
I mean, I'm not I
kept,
don't know,
like,
I don't
hidden
know
away
what it's like for
secretly.
girls. Maybe there's similar stuff.
At least for
going
now,
on.
I either have them in my room or
You're a
in the
guy.
garage right here next to
You
me.
got crazy shit going on hormonally. If you
So,
are like,
at least I have them, stored to where they're
maladjusted or anything,
accessible
or
and
you're having, like,
immediate
trouble
reach.
fitting in socially. Like a lot of times, the hormones that are going on in your fucking body and your brain can do like some really weird shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like,
Thanks, puberty.
And like your empathy
It
is
does.
not fully fucking developed at that point in your life, honestly.
If anything, testosterone or
That's something
whatever
that
aggressive
comes later,
hormones are
like,
pumping through your
time
veins are.
experience and shit, because like you've gone through like, and like I don't know, like the way that like our culture sort of like deals with and processes males is probably part of the problem as well. I know
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
like this whole thing about like toxic masculinity and shit. Like the fucking idea of masculinity in this country is pretty fucking toxic.
It is.
'Cause it's
It
like-
just is.
Especially
It's like,
like
Hey!
don't show weakness, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. Like, emotions are for pussies, all this stuff. So it's like, anytime you have an emotion, you start to, like, internally beat yourself up over having it, because it's like, I'm not manly because I feel things.
Yeah, what do we
I repress the
that?
emotions.
Or
it's like,
if anything, it could be the
Well,
other way
also-
around a little
it's
bit,
also
where it's just
time
like,
when,
everyone thinks I'm
hormones
toxic.
are
I'm like,
shit.
there's everyone's society, just hates men and blah blah blah, and that in itself can also be kind of like a toxic masculinity type of thing a little bit too.
And dude, you know,
And if anything, that's also kind of self-defeating and also kind of a more reciprocal type of like cycle that, especially if you express that kind of type of feeling, yeah, I mean, obviously, people might legit feel that way because, like, well, if you're, complaining about it, then maybe there is something to it. So, all right, so I'll avoid that.
I'm being sat down a few times, like, interrogated by my parents about, like,
I mean, honestly, when it comes to just like that type of shit, I mean, at least for me, I just don't necessarily like fucking
so it's like,
know,
a very strong
like make it some sort of a personal thing, because it isn't really, unless it's like a one-on-one conversation with somebody. But still, it's just like, to me at least, it's not that big of a fucking deal if some person's like, oh my god, it's like, well, okay, you're just an asshole then. Because frankly, at least for me, I've never really been claimed to be that way at all, or really been like, or whatever the fuck. The closest I ever was really was probably like during one of the protests 2020, where some person was trying to kind of sabotage things a little bit and was doing the whole like, because a bunch of other people were calling this person out, and it just arbitrary happenstance that a majority of them were white. It's like, y'all's white, like they were saying that. It's like, you are all white, and all this shit. And I'm just like, what? Because you're saying we shouldn't do anything, even though the whole point of protesting is to do something. Because they were trying to say it was like a day of rest thing, and it's like, if it's a day of rest, then go home and rest. Like, I mean, like, at least I remember that day. Like, my day of rest was the day before that. I even said that. It's like, hey, my day of rest is yesterday. Today, so for the people that are out here, evidently it isn't. So, what the fuck? Don't make no sense.
I'm the one that bought the album. I'm the one that was into that before TJ was.
My parents.
I mean, it's just, like, ridiculous.
Ignored the numerous red flags. I was a fucking theater kid, for Christ's sakes. Is that not the ultimate red flag? I'm in musicals and shit.
Being a theater kid.
Approached my stepdad and my mom one time and I didn't even come out to them. I just asked like one of these like vague questions. So I remember with my stepdad, we were swimming together, and how it came out as a teenager was like, so like when you were younger, like when you were my age, did you ever know anybody who was gay? I was just like feeling out like, what he thought about the idea of gay.
Guy Dave Rest right here grabs kneecap.
Right.
Like I was at a point now where I was like,
Throw me off, huh?
absolutely, completely, and utterly upside down about the fact that I was attracted to chicks and dudes. And I thought that, that's what a gay person is. Like, eventually, that just means that the gay wins, and
Eventually, the gay overcomes and takes over.
And so I asked him that question, and he was like, no. He was like, I don't think I'd really get along very well with, blah, 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 blah. It's just not my cup of tea. And yeah, he gave me, like, the worst answer possible. I was just like, oh, fuck.
Oh no.
When I went to my mom about it, I was a little more explicit with my mom. I was like, I started doing a what would you do if kind of thing. And then I got around to it, I was like, what would you do if, like, I was a gay guy and I showed up with my boyfriend? And she goes, you better not fucking joke about that. She was like, you know what, PJ? I would rather find out that you was a serial killer
Jesus.
than find out that you was gay.
I'd rather find out you murdering people, burying
Yeah,
their bodies in the desert.
She was straight up.
When I actually came out to my mom, she literally cried and started going, "Where did I go wrong?"
Yeah.
So I could kind of imagine that my own mom probably had a very similar feeling when I was kind of growing up a little bit.
Insinuations I got were what
I think she, at this rate, she doesn't really know, like, yeah, or I guess she doesn't really even care at this point. Because, I mean,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because the other day she was kind of
that was part of the
joking, it's like, don't treat your,
calling everybody
your
else.
future, wife or your girlfriend or, husband or boyfriend, whatever. She just kind of, kind of went off a little bit like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, she doesn't care anymore.
I love pussy person.
So it's like, even though, like, back in, like, what, I don't even know, like, 2014, she was like, what did I do wrong? 8 years later, she's like, whatever, I don't care. So,
Like, if you are,
hey.
you're not. Who cares?
At least some parents will do evolve.
I like women, bro. It's like, okay.
My dad straight up told me he'd sooner move to Charlotte than have a...
I personally don't give a shit. I don't think anyone should. It's not their business what you want to do.
Yeah, my dad just never cared in the first place. Like, well, just be safe.
Twist for my
Yeah,
mom
I'd say the same if you're straight or gay or whatever. Just be safe. Wear protection. Like, that was basically it. Like, he just essentially just was like, oh, okay. So, like, he just didn't care. Like, he just straight up did not give a fuck. Like, he just had, like, the no fucks given. Swag glasses comes on. Just like, and mom's like, ah! Just triggered like a snowflake.
Well, it's gonna get some clicks.
But I guess maybe to, like, draw
My dad,
attention.
yeah.
Beto
I mean,
big anti-gun guy.
like, I definitely know some family members that would probably have those type of strong opinions. So, I mean, at least for some of my folks, I'm definitely not gonna come out to them whatsoever. I mean, at least like to some, I think it'll be okay. But
Couldn't handle it.
Like, even honestly, with some family members, even if I do trust maybe them specifically, I don't trust them to keep their mouth shut about it. Like, I have some cousins that I probably would be okay with telling them, because I'm sure, and and knowing them, they don't really. I'm sure they wouldn't really care that much. Gosh, pause this quick. And but despite that, I have a feeling they'll be like, did you know that Ignor's like bi, or whatever the fuck, talking to the family or some shit. Like, it's like it'll spread, and I don't want that with my family, and that's the way I'm comfortable about it. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable with it. I mean, I guess that's kind of the perk of being bisexual. It's easier to be in the closet, whether halfway or entirely or whatever have you. It's just it's like, depending on circumstances, it's easier to be out of it or in it, in any given circumstance. I mean, because if you like pussy just as much as dick, if you're a dude, then, well, I mean, just, like, depending on who you're with, just keep the dick interest out, and just it's pretty easy, honestly. I mean, I'm a little bit more of a male preferred bisexual, but nonetheless, it's, it's not that hard either. Because I still appreciate and love, the female form and the femininity and, in all of its ways and blunders and physical and other ways, just as much as the male aspect of things. So, yeah. I know for sure I'm not poly. I mean, I don't think I am entirely, but depending on circumstances, I might be okay with it. I'm too jealous to do that. For me, it depends. Like, I think I could be, depending on circumstances or the people I'm with, but other people, maybe not. I don't know. Like, if I'm not 100% too sure if I'm, like, totally about, like, polyamorous or not. I know I'm probably a little bit more open about, like, open relationships and shit and stuff like that, but, I mean, I mean, despite my experiences that I do have, I don't really have, enough to be like, for sure if I'm, into certain things or not quite yet, just because I haven't tried it out. Man, what's this about?
You're out of line and an embarrassment.
Oh shit! Hold on, we'll skip a little bit further.
Yeah, it gets you. That's
I want to see this. What?
Yeah, I don't think.
You're out of line and you're an embarrassment.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sit down. You're out of line and an embarrassment. Sit down.
Next shooting is right now, and you are doing nothing.
No, he needs to get his ass out of here. This isn't the place to talk this over.
This is totally predictable when you...
Sir, you're out of line. Sir, you are out of line.
Sir, you're out of line.
You're out of line.
Sir.
What the fuck? These pigs are literally just like yelling at him to basically sit down, and he's an embarrassment and out of line, even though he's like basically.
I totally agree with him. I don't even like Beto, fucking dork. But no, fuck you. You're out of fucking. You're out of line.
You're an embarrassment. So you fucking pig fag of fuck. You're like, you're out of line. You worthless piece of shit.
Thoughts and prayers, boy.
So, like, basically, like, you guys are always saying you're gonna do stuff, but then, like,
Oh wait, that's made of work? Oh my god, it is.
sucks.
Oh my god, you know what? What the?
It'd be really cool if, like,
It is.
The next time
Holy
you guys
shit! It
start
actually.
to
I didn't even notice that the first
about
time.
guns, like, you did it.
Base Beto.
You know?
I don't know why.
Thank you.
What do we call this fucking guy?
Butthead O'Rourke.
Butthead O'Dork or something.
Butthead
I don't
O'Dork.
know why, but
I think he's running for
Fucking
governor,
love
isn't
this.
he? So he'll be
Probably.
back, right?
Dude, he'd be better than Abbott.
back.
I don't even like him that much, but you know what? For Texas, let him win. For Texas, he'd be great. Like, you know, honestly, he's like a legitimate good transitionary period for Texas. Like, actually, yeah, like, let him win governor. Like, seriously.
Sir.
Sir.
Like, I think
Excuse
it's
me.
probably like
Sir.
you that's out of line or whatever.
I thank you. It's, you know.
I can't believe you're a sick son of a bitch that would come to a deal like this to make a political issue.
I can't believe you think don't come to bed and I didn't make.
Well, guess what? It is a political issue, you fucking worthless piece of shit. You fucking fascist. Like, what the fuck do you think it is? Man, you know what? I'm happy fucking Beta did that, dude. Like, damn, dude. Sigma O'Rourke, bro. What the fuck? He evolved. He became Sigma O'Rourke right there, dude. He went from Beta to Sigma O'Rourke. Fuck. Damn. You know what? I'll give a credit where it's due for him, at least.
You're actually right, though. I am a son of a bitch. My mom sucks.
I'm so glad he actually did that. Man, what fucking bootlicking fascist piece of shit.
Okay. I don't know. Let's see if we can glean more out of it.
I mean, honestly, for political acumen, I mean, it's a good PR move for him, and for people who are gonna vote for him, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go stand up to him. I'm gonna go yell at him. It's like
Senator Ted Cruz.
You know what? I don't care. It's good.
Told him to sit
I like
down,
it.
Seemingly in disgust.
That's great.
After
I liked
O'Rourke
it.
Left, the governor noted, "There's no words. Anybody shouting can come up here and do anything to heal those broken hearts."
Oh my god.
What a useless fucking state.
yeah,
What
what
a
a
useless
fucking
governor.
thoughts and prayers with you. Yeah, that's all you guys can
and
offer.
prayers.
So nothing.
I'll tell you what, boy. Ain't nothing no one can say make this any better. Might as well just not say
Might as well just not do anything at all.
Jesus. Dude, Jesus, please.
I would have asked him if that
Stop
boot
letting
tasted
our
good.
kids be shot and stuff,
The
Jesus.
fucking audacity of that statement as he politicizes it and fucking, I'm the good.
I asked him if his son is, you know, going to be the next one to do shooting in Texas.
Then someone else
What
comes
I
and
don't
makes another
understand is
point.
like this idea of like we shouldn't politicize this. We shouldn't
We should.
politicize this. It's like, what do you mean? It's a political issue inherently because whatever solution
No shit.
exists for this problem is going to be political. Like you can't change society and it not be fucking political. So what you're basically saying is when you say don't politicize this is like just don't do nothing. It's fine. Just like hope it stops. You know, just keep doing what
Let's just keep doing what we're doing. Just hope it eventually just goes away.
See, I'd have had more respect for Beto if he just fucking pushed that cop aside and like, fuck you, bitch, arrest me.
Honestly, yeah, I would have a lot more respect for it.
Go dump fucking worthless ass Greg Abbott out of his wheelchair.
Smack Greg Abbott across his fucking face.
Fucking.
At least last time I heard from my family in Texas, at least some of them aren't even really fond of him anymore.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, that's that dude that smacked.
At least I know there's actually a couple of them that actually are kind of lib, but but for the ones that aren't, like even they aren't really, at least at this point, aren't exactly fond of Abbott. Probably because he isn't going far enough for the shit that they want, but.
So I don't want to go to jail, you know? I just wanted to tell him, I just want to, like, show up there.
And just be like, hey, baby.
Cause, like, he's there talking about how, like, good he is, and I just want to be like, hey, you actually suck.
Hey, baby. You actually suck.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
I think that's a noble cause, man, you know?
I think so.
I agree with you.
Yeah, you suck and you're worthless.
Alright. So, last thing we got on this until we watch the Biden speech later, because of course we have to do that fucking shit.
Oh, I don't, oh.
But we're going to take a little break from it for a minute. So the FBI, 61 active shooter incidents reported in 2021, 52% jump from 2020. So, and now I'm sure, I don't know, it seems like we're going to have another jump between 2021 and 2022.
I think so far there's been 212 mass shootings since 2022.
Well, the pandemic kind of put a Band-Aid on that, because I think less people were going out, and there was a lot of relief flooding to people. So kind of crazy, right? Like,
and now people are even more pent up.
And more
so now we're seeing an accelerated rate of this.
There's less people going and killing each other. Kind of weird, man. I don't know. I can't figure.
I wonder why people are just getting more fractured and postal and fucking and pissed off at everything and don't believe in the system anymore. I wonder why. Why does this keep happening? Curious.
I agree with Greg Abbott on gun rights, guns/weapons.
I'm so glad I'm not fucking in school anymore. Like seriously.
In every state.
Because I probably would just drop out just on this virtue. Like, even if I was doing good, I'd be like, you know what? I'll fucking, like, take the L. I don't care. I don't want to die. Like, I don't want to risk death.
Place you can't carry guns. What are you talking about? Louisiana has guns. All these other states have guns. People in California have guns right now. What are you talking? Oh, it's only cool that we have in Texas.
There's no state. There's no matter, even in the bluest of states, you can have a gun.
In 2012, there was a fucking shooting at my local mall. And that day, I had a buddy that I was sitting up thinking that we were probably going to hang out that day, but he kind of forgot. And I told him about the incident, and he didn't even know about it. Even though he was a lot closer to the place.
Everybody in California is armed. This idea that it's like a gun-free liberal wasteland or whatever. Is
Dude, Oregon is the same way, bro.
So the number of active shooter incidents.
I love how a lot of people in the South think that like people in like the West Coast or the North are just all like gun toady controlling fucking like gonna take your gun and people, and it's like honestly, actually come to these fucking states. They're not.
6.8%. That seems like a lot.
Not at all.
I don't know.
Yeah, that seems like if you went to the doctor and you had high cholesterol, and then you went back to the doctor 3 months later and your cholesterol had increased by 96%.
Yeah, it seems like that would probably be like a
whoa. Yeah.
That's good. Ticker's going. That's going well.
Yeah, your heart's going great.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, except
it's all good.
Jumped 96.8%.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, basically your heart is basically nothing but a ball of cholesterol. But you know, hey.
So yeah,
it's good.
I don't know.
My mic is a bit quiet compared to Scotty's and Paul's. Okay, I'll look in it.
Boost yourself a little bit.
Test.
You don't sound quiet on my end though, but
yeah, I don't sound quiet on mine either. But I'll boost
it. Doesn't sound quiet.
So I don't know.
Test.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Test. It's been an issue a few times, so they're probably not. I think I'm fine now. I wasn't that far behind you, but it was a little bit.
Actually, 5 minutes behind on the stream.
Most people are saying I sounded fine, but yeah.
I actually catch up.
I mean, very similar fucking incident. I mean, even down to like
Sandy Hook family's defamation damages trial against Alex Jones to move forward in CT.
This guy, Romo, whatever the fuck, who
shot his grandmother.
Shot his grandmother before he did the massacre. So right down to shooting a matriarchal figure before the fucking attack. Very similar. So anyway. Alex Jones, of course, put out some disinformation. Said it was all fucking hoax. Said it was all just, a fucking scam to deprive people of their precious fucking guns. And a federal judge has cleared the way for the Sandy Hook families to have the defamation lawsuit they won against Alex Jones released from bankruptcy protection and returned to state court. Where a trial to determine the damages to Jones
beyond depressing for major mass shooting after major mass shooting. Seriously.
So Alex Jones he fucking.
I mean,
lost
for
the
real.
case, you know, and but he's just like,
Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I mean, you know, even for me, it's just like, you know, like, I mean, you know, while I'm gonna go later and shit, I'm still gonna have this feeling of like, damn.
So after a brief
Just like, damn, though.
Thursday, federal bankruptcy judge Julie Manning got commitments from both sides to submit an agreement for the families to drop 3 Jones-controlled entities currently in bankruptcy protection from the defamation lawsuit the families won last year. Once Manning sanctions the agreement, it will allow the families to prepare for a trial to determine how much money Jones will pay for calling the worst crime in Connecticut history staged, synthetic, manufactured, a giant hoax, and completely fake with actors. The Sandy Hook families will be free to pursue their damages because they will no longer be party to the 3 Jones-controlled businesses in bankruptcy. The family's target will be Jones himself and his parent company, Free Speech Systems, which technically were not part of the bankruptcy filing, but which benefited from the automatic stay the federal bankruptcy cases have over state courts. So basically, they've just like, Jones tried to do this bankruptcy shit to protect his money, but it's not gonna work.
Alex,
And you
He's
know what?
fucked.
You would think this motherfucker had learned his lesson, right?
No,
Oh,
You would
no.
hope.
he definitely
Not
didn't.
at all. Not at all.
Sorry to
Not
say, nope. Because here he is, once again, lying his fucking ass off like the piece of scumfuck shit he is.
Sue him again. Sue him again. Fuck him, dude.
Sue him.
Alex Jones
Yeah.
once again
Sue him to
spreading harmful
fucking
misinformation
oblivion.
about a school shooting. The trans kid picture here was not the shooter and is still alive. So basically,
Yeah. I can't wait.
This
What? Wait.
There was all this shit.
He's making a claim some trans kid who's probably a victim in this, who's still alive, but was
their fucking bullshit agendas. They first said, oh, he was an
What?
illegal immigrant. He wasn't. And so when that got found out, they're like, well, he's a tranny then. And they found some pictures of a trans girl that looked similar to the killer or whatever. And they're like,
Doesn't
yeah.
even look similar, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it was similar enough for their stupid asses to fucking buy it, I guess. And
okay, whatever.
You remember the picture they pulled of the. You remember the picture they pulled of the guy that was supposedly JFK Jr.
Yeah.
that fucking dorky.
Oh my god, that
Wasn't
guy
quite
literally
that
did not
far
look
off,
jiffed.
But yeah, it was not. It's not that close either.
Not really.
So check it out.
Arizona. Mark in Arizona. Let's talk about Mike Adams. Go ahead.
Mike Adams just posted on naturalnews.com that the kid was a transsexual, and I think we should go
we
into
have the
that.
photo. We'll put him on screen.
Put him on screen, Alex.
He killed 7, 8, and 9-year-olds. Maybe that's where he went to elementary school, and he's just going back to where it all began. And so he was groomed there, and then set up and transitioned through high school. And it drove him
What?
crazy, so he started.
Yeah.
This kid was trans.
These people are fucking
So I'm
mental,
guessing,
dude.
I guess we don't put the
It's insane
photos up
asylum
in
for
this,
these fucking
bit of the
people.
segment,
Jesus
but they
Christ.
Put up some photos.
Like, what the fuck?
Of this.
Like, this is just ridiculous.
Trans person that they decided they were just gonna like try to.
Like, honestly, I mean, it's not, like, I mean, honestly, like, I hope Alex Jones doesn't just get, like, you know, fucking sued to oblivion. Like, honestly, you know, just put him in fucking prison at this fucking rate. Like, I mean, how much, like, incitement of violence does he fucking cause on people like, you know, the victims of Sandy Hook, and, for, you know, now at this rate, probably, you know, for the victims of this shit.
I don't remember that.
It's like, I mean, he's just a fucking inciter of violence and shit. Like, fuck this Creighton parasite. Like, he had his moment in the sun of being funny and amusement, and yeah, I have some nostalgia about that shit, but that's not, you know, what fundamentally he was about and is about. Like, fuck him.
And actually, some of the most
Like, what a parasite. What a goddamn fucking loathsome fucking cockroach.
They're disproportionately victims of violent crime, not perpetrators of it.
That's it, yeah, like, honestly, trans people aren't perpetrators of violence, they're the ones who are victims of it.
Now it's gonna be he was an ultra lefty liberal.
An ultra lefty liberal that loved guns. Isn't that supposed to be a contradiction to those people?
Well,
here's
it
the
isn't.
problem with that. The left is starting to embrace gun culture, which I'm fine with.
Yep.
I think everybody should have the right to own guns, and I think people should probably have guns to protect themselves if they're in dangerous situations. At least something around the house in case you need it.
Right.
Just be responsible with it. But they're starting to, like, show them off like Republicans do. They're starting to talk about, like, this is what I got right here, man. I got this fucking
1870
I feel called out.
fucking Glock 95 with a 17-round clip, you know what I mean?
Okay, I feel called out. No.
Right. Ha, bang, bang, stream. Ha, just kidding, yo. It's just
Okay, I feel called out now.
Like all the fucking rednecks that had the beer wall behind them back in the early YouTube days. You remember those guys that would talk about, it's me, it's
Okay, I'm not
Harley's
that bad
guns,
about it.
or whatever the fuck, and they'd sit around and talk about guns.
I did
and
earlier, but it
tobacco
was
and,
making a point
you know,
because of what Paul was saying about the
that
responsibility
was
fucking aspect of
briefly
things.
a very popular video style on
Because Frank, honestly, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to kind of like,
way that they,
like show them occasionally or be like, hey, here's what I got or whatever. Like, I don't think that's necessarily a big deal.
That's never held a gun.
But I mean, to make like like endless like like every time, every day, like 24/7 thing.
Yeah, 50 cals.
I mean, that's a little like, okay, what the hell?
I love guns.
I just got mine right next to me just because I'm in like less than an hour. I'm gonna head out and go off in the mountains and stuff. But
They're just tools. I love them.
I love them all.
Hammer. You know, it's like,
I did.
I mean, yeah, that's just all they are, really.
We have problems.
Hold on.
Why do you guys even open up about guns? What the fuck do you mean?
What does that mean?
What does that mean? What the fuck?
Open up about guns?
What the hell?
He's probably one of these people that thinks that everything that we're saying is stupid because it doesn't include free and open trade of guns to anybody who wants them, and blaming some other fucking random factor on the fact that these happen once every couple of weeks.
Oh my lord.
Like, can they try again? I always ask people to try again, and then they never fucking do, so.
No, they never do.
They never
like,
do.
hey, what are you talking
Why do you
about,
open up
buddy?
about it? It's because literally America's full of them and it's a major political issue in this country. What the fuck do you think?
Semblance of sense in that sentence, please.
It's probably European that really does not comprehend the
I don't
idea
know,
that
might
guns
be-
are just commonplace around
too
here.
much. It's asking far too much.
You got it. I'm sorry, guys. No, I don't believe in making sense. That's a liberal conspiracy.
I just got into guns last month, and I'd like to show you my assault rifle, dude.
My guy.
You got and no, you guys.
Okay, that's a call out. That's just calling me out right
I'm
there.
gonna show you my assault rifle.
Yeah, well, Professor, why don't you make a fucking video and teach everyone about it? Fucking dipshit.
I'm gonna show you my assault rifle, my dude.
My guy.
We're gonna talk about how based it is to continue to support the war in Ukraine.
Oh my god. I love how he's just
Based
calling.
NATO ally from over there. Ex-NATO.
Based, my dude,
security.
my guy.
And we're gonna talk
My
about
homo
how
sapien.
based he is.
Based.
Based.
So this is the
I love how he just like fucking trolls Vosh, dude. I love how he does that.
Yeah, dude.
But this is the person they blamed for the attack, who, yeah, looks very little like the actual shooter.
Yeah, that person doesn't look like him at all.
But yeah, they are on Reddit. Basically, this is them.
Ridiculous.
This is them posting like, it's not me, I don't even live in Texas, basically.
Wow. I hope she sues
there,
the
that's
ever living
that's them.
fuck out of Alex Jones.
I guess the post
It takes every single penny that they can get out of him.
They're trying to report these posts that are trying to make this claim. You know, honestly, I don't know if so. This is their Twitter hand or their Reddit handle here: apprehensive_ad_995. Whoa. Reach out to them and encourage them to fucking sue these people.
Yes.
You know,
Sue him.
like Alex Jones already paying out the ass. No reason he shouldn't pay a little more. No reason that all these motherfuckers that push this story out shouldn't fucking pay.
They should all fucking pay. Seriously.
Blatant fucking lies.
Every single penny.
But I don't know. That's up to them.
Yeah, I mean it is,
Oh my
but they
God.
absolutely
You know what?
should.
In between these stories, can we take a quick moment to dunk on Johnny Laser, who said Paul sucks, disliked? So let me explain something to you, Johnny Laser. The dislike button is what I like to call on the internet a monkey
button. Yep.
It's a button so that
I'm gonna
they
grab
can
something to
track
drink,
how many
actually.
times
We'll
your
be right
chimp ass is willing to engage directly with it one way or the other. They don't care if you don't like it. It doesn't hurt our channel if you don't like it. In fact, helps it in every single fucking possible way because it shows you were here and you were engaged with the fucking content. And you posted a bunch of times in the fucking chat. So, there you go. Thanks, buddy. Please, if you're out there and you also hate my guts, dislike me, dude. If you don't like my VDS, dude, look,
Please
the
dislike this
VDS
video.
shit.
Yes.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
The VDS shit. Can we talk about it for a second?
Sure.
I feel like on one hand I'm supposed to ignore it, which I do. I don't watch Vosh.
Yeah.
But then it's brought into
God,
our
here we go
subreddit
again.
constantly and put in my face on social media constantly. And then when I talk about it,
Oh wait, this is his
I
scene.
have
Never mind.
video.
Fuck. Oops.
What am I supposed to say? So now I can't say what I actually think about Vosh and his output without being accused of having derangement syndrome.
I guess
See, I wouldn't even want to talk about this, but this is the type of shit that gets views. Inter-streamer drama, dude. This is the type of shit that gets views,
Get
right?
him, Paul. Get him. Lay
Get him.
lay siege to the Vosh castle.
No, because you know what, dude? I don't like doing it in this venue.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there we
Because you
go.
agree with a lot of what I'm saying, but you hold back for political reasons. You're like, and then people go like, notice how TJ just sits there awkwardly when Paul talks about Vosh?
Oh shit.
Dude,
Streamer drama is the lowest
agree.
form of entertainment.
Yeah. I
Honestly, at least right now, I actually am mildly entertained.
There's other stuff I disagree with that I don't want to
Like
push
what?
back on. You know. So.
What? Push back on like what?
I don't know. I can't think of anything offhand, but
So we should have a spontaneous Vosh
you know what?
discussion.
You know what we ought to
You
do?
take Vosh rad and I'll take Vosh bad.
Oh, yeah.
Vosh bad.
You have the
Vosh
Vosh
rad,
bait.
Vosh bad.
Yeah.
Vosh bait. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be willing to do that.
Dude, I challenge you to a fucking Vosh bad, Vosh rad debate.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
You take Vosh rad.
A Vosh off.
The Vosh off,
Vosh
dude.
bad.
I love it.
Yeah, okay. I'll do that.
I take Vosh, I just don't give a fuck one way or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Fundamentally, I'm like that. I really don't care one way or the other about him.
Fuck about Vosh person.
It's more of his community that I really have an issue with, because they're the ones who keep inciting this stupid shit.
And then
Vosh
we'll
can moderate, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get Vosh in there and be like, Vosh, you gotta decide who won.
Yeah, he's got to be the Vosh
You gotta
moderator.
decide if you suck, or if you're good, or if no one should give a shit about you.
Yeah.
The three positions.
Oh my god, I actually hope they organize that.
but
I
not
want
today.
that.
Yep,
I
not
actually want to see that.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe next week.
Me,
I'll
Vosh, will moderate a trifecta debate between
I mean,
Deep Fat
honestly,
Fried
it
on
is
whether
good
I'm
for
bad,
fucking, SEO
rad,
and shit, because
or don't care.
plenty of people are interested in Vosh.
Who will win in the trifecta?
So I don't see any reason
My
not
dude.
to do it. It'd be good for views.
It would
Probably
actually.
more views now than fucking people. Probably put more people give a shit about that than give a shit about any goddamn other fucking goddamn thing going on in the fucking world. So, at least on this fucking platform.
Oh my
Kind of
god.
sad but true, isn't it?
Uh huh.
Yeah. Jesus Christ! Wow,
It's
what a
not
world.
kind of sad but true. It is just sad.
It's just yeah.
Like, honestly, I don't watch Vosh much, and if you'd like to hear less about Vosh, stop talking about him constantly in every community that we have and on every social media
They
outlet
can't
we
help
have.
it.
They can't help it. They're stupid. That's why I have a problem with them more so than the natural people. That's why I'm kind of more on the Scotty approach.
Jimmy makes you say stupid shit. Makes sense. Anyway, so here we got some updates on the Abu Akleh story. They were shooting directly at journalists. New evidence suggests Shireen Abu Akleh was killed in targeted attack by Israeli forces. Now, we pretty much already knew this.
Go
but
figure.
Apparently, there's new evidence to that effect.
Just
Even
enforcing
CNN
the whole
reported
thing?
on, which is pretty crazy, honestly, because CNN usually carries water for whoever they need to. But maybe this pisses them off because journalists love to suck each other's cocks. So the fact that a journalist was attacked might fucking trump their love of the system. 'Cause they're
Yeah.
like, oh, fuck that.
Oh,
Shoot
a
one of
journalist
us,
was killed.
motherfucker.
Wait a minute.
Several shots ring out in quick succession, cutting through a clear blue spring morning in Jenin in the West Bank. Crack, 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 crack. It's like, all right.
Jimmy cracked corn and I don't care. Oh, sorry.
Which is a weird fucking song, by the way, just as a fucking stupid aside, because
I don't even know what the song
why
is
am I
about.
like am I supposed to care? First of all, I don't even understand what cracking corn is, but even if I did, like Jimmy cracked corn, am I
Why
supposed
is this
to
an
care about
aside
that
right
shit?
now?
Care is the point that I'm supposed to care, but I just don't.
I'm guessing when that song was written, that was an annoying thing that kids did.
Jimmy cracked corn, I don't care. Jimmy cracked corn, I don't care.
cracking the corn. I've heard
Why
you
is-
cracking the corn all morning. I'm trying to get some damn rest.
I just want rest, and I can't be cracking no damn corn more until it sounds like some Boomhauer
Behind
shit.
a low concrete wall. Then a man cries out in Arabic, "Injured, Shireen, Shireen, oh man, Shireen,
I
ambulance."
figured crack corn meant
When
farting.
the camera operator pans around the corner, Al Jazeera journalist
Yeah, that makes
Shireen
sense.
Abu Akleh can be seen lying motionless, face down on the ground, as another Palestinian reporter, Shatha Hanaisha, I can't pronounce it.
Hanaisha?
Sorry, crouches down beside her, using a tree trunk for cover. Hanaisha reaches out and tries to rouse her as gunshots continue. There's no response. Both women are wearing helmets and protective gear marked press. In the moments that follow, a man in a white t-shirt makes several attempts to move Abu Akleh, but is forced back repeatedly by gunfire. Finally, after a few minutes, long minutes, he manages to drag her body from the street. The shaky video, filmed by Al Jazeera cameraman
I remember that video.
Majdi
I've seen
Banura,
it.
captures the scene when Abu Akleh, a 51-year-old Palestinian-American, was killed by a bullet to the head at around 6:30 a.m. on May 11th. She had been standing with a group of journalists near the entrance of Jenin refugee camp, where they had come to cover an Israeli raid. While the footage does not show Abu Akleh being shot, eyewitnesses told CNN that they believe Israeli forces on the same street fired deliberately on the reporters in a targeted attack. All of the journalists were wearing protective blue vests that identify them as members of the news outlet. We stood in front of the Israeli military vehicles for about 5 to 10 minutes before we made moves to ensure they saw us, and this is out of habit of ours as journalists. We move as a group and we stand in front of them so they know we are journalists, and then we start moving, Haniasha told CNN, describing their cautious approach toward the Israeli army convoy before gunfire began. Here's a little map showing, the topography of the area and shit.
They basically, dude, there's a lot of fucking detail here, and you can,
It's pretty
read on if you
self-explanatory.
want, but the basics of this are that the IDF shot a journalist.
IOF, Israeli
shot
Offense
wantonly
Force.
into a group of journalists. I mean, they talk here about the precautions they take. It's we make sure they understand we're journalists. We fucking stick together, wearing our blue vests, making sure they see us, so they know, we are journalists. We are not combatants. We are not here to fight. We are here to cover the news.
So they don't want that either. I mean, it sounds like
I know just before they were getting shot at, pretty much what happened was prior to them getting shot was basically they had their hands up saying, hey, we're press and journalists and shit, trying to let them know, but they was like, oh, hey, our targets are letting us know, let's fucking line up and start shooting at them. That's literally pretty much just what the Israelis thought.
Israeli subreddit that shows a lot of that kind of stuff, and you see.
I don't go to that subreddit, but I've been inundated over the last fucking 20 years of my life of shit that's just it almost seems like schoolyard bully shit is a lot of the stuff that you see.
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
You know what I mean?
They do.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's schoolyard bully shit. I guess to me is the lowest tier of antagonism.
Sure.
But it's constant. They will gaffle people up for no reason. They will step into the middle of a group of Palestinian people walking and just single one out, press them up against the wall, and call them names and shit before slapping them in the back of the head and sending them on their way and shit. There's so much of that goes on that these big incidents tend to get kind of focused on, where you have to understand it's not just these big incidents that happen. It is a constant sense. Dude, there are places where Palestinian parents have to wait behind an iron gate every day so that their children can be walked under armed guard from the IDF from the school that they go to.
That just sounds like some fucking Nazi shit.
Unarmed Palestinian being,
Gaffled up by a bunch of fucking Nazis. How's this no different than Gestapo fucking taking a Jewish family and just gaffling them fucking up? Seriously. Fucking fascist cockroaches.
You see, there's 100 of these videos, every week.
Oh, but you know what
well, that just kind of got me in a fucking pissed off mood right there. Jesus Christ! Thanks, TJ.
Rockets they're firing into Israel. It's gee, I wonder why they want to do that.
That just rightfully pissed me right the fuck off.
They're oppressed. They have a fucking blockade They can't get essential medicines. There's no jobs. There's no nothing for Palestinians. They have dog shit.
Dude, look at the amount of, like, just, what was it, a year ago or a year and a half ago or something when they bombed fucking 3 different media outlets in Palestinian territory.
I think the Associated Press is one of them.
Hospitals, schools,
markets.
They recently.
They're just fucking Nazis at this rate.
Shireen lady.
Instead of a swastika, they now just replace it with a Star of David.
To a mosque during Ramadan, and just started indiscriminately beating people in the mosque and chasing them out, and had a big violent fucking clash with them, like on a fucking holy day. That would be like them coming to your Christmas dinner and pissing on the turkey. Fuck you, Christians.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that would go swimmingly well.
You know, have a nice day, bitch. It's like, what?
And by the way, every bit of this propped up by the American fucking empire.
Yeah.
Every bit of this shit.
Every dollar.
By American fucking funding of Israeli defense.
We don't even fucking be like, you know, we could be like, hey, Israel.
And yet, you know, we just, like, and we have this weird thing where we won't acknowledge shit like this.
See, here's the thing. When you try and take it to them like, because I can't remember who it was, but I remember there being a big kerfluffle. Maybe it was Obama who tried to put some stipulations on Israeli funding or something.
I think it was, yeah. I actually remember what he's talking about.
We need to see a reduction in violence in the Gaza Strip as a result.
And basically, immediately after that, he flipped his switch, and because of the backlash, there was a whole kerfluffle about this. I actually remember this.
The case, and fucking Israeli news is all over it, talking about how, like, they're trying to insinuate that the violence comes from the Israelis, and they're not just defending.
This is fucking crazy. You know how much the United States has given in foreign aid to Israel?
Jesus Christ.
It's got to be like
hundreds of billions.
Hundreds of billions of dollars.
$150 billion at least. Somewhere around there. $150 billion fucking dollars. That's mind-boggling.
They're a small state, but they have a military that could go toe-to-toe with any military in the region. They have jets. They have nukes.
More than that.
And that's another thing, by the way.
They can take on, like, every military in the Middle East and then some. They could probably take on, like, 2 Irans, like, because of us. Just funding them alone, if they were just, like, one-on-one.
Because they just don't admit that they have them. But everybody knows that the United States has placed nuclear silos in Iran. Nobody knows exactly how many of them are there.
I believe Israel like 125, but maybe.
Yeah, Israel has at least 100 something.
The numbers are always fucking changing. Is my point. You never. Who knows is the question. Who knows is the real answer. How many fucking nukes are?
When it comes to like unaccounted nukes, they're probably just in these fucking countries that just don't admit they have them.
American military bases.
Like I'm sure maybe Ukraine probably still does, and he just didn't admit to taking away all of them.
And what it is doing is brutally oppressing an ethnic.
If anything, there probably wouldn't behoove them to be like, let's kind of secretly keep a few for ourselves.
Not even really an ethnic minority, just like
we'll just kind of, you know, be on the side about it.
Historically shared that land with the Jews.
You mean stole it?
Listen to this fucking. Okay, Whoopi Goldberg said she's ready to punch somebody over the GOP's empty thoughts and prayers, and the way the way that's being spun on this Twitter account of some dude named Chuck Calestro is Whoopi Goldberg threatens violence, lashes out at Republicans.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They're worried about
Oh my God, dude. Wow.
Ancient ass coming to
Whoopi Goldberg is gonna come out of nowhere from the View and just punch someone. They're signing violence, that old chrome, damn it.
Bitch, motherfucker.
Like, what the fuck,
No wonder
dude?
you guys need guns. You're so bitch made.
Bitch, seriously.
Pussies.
Scared of Whoopi Goldberg out to punch somebody? Give me a break.
Scared of a fucking 900-year-old black woman. Fucking dipshits. Tesla loses bid to move sexual harassment lawsuit to arbitration. California state judge has rejected Tesla Inc.'s bid to send a lawsuit alleging widespread sexual harassment at the company's flagship assembly plant to private arbitration, allowing it to move forward in court. California Superior Court Judge Stephen Kaus in Oakland denied Tesla's motion to compel arbitration in a brief order on Monday. In a written opinion released Tuesday, Kaus said Tesla had improperly pressured the plaintiff Jessica Barraza to sign an arbitration agreement after she had already quit her job previously. Basically, Barraza was ambushed, the judge wrote. Barraza, in the lawsuit filed in November, claims workers and supervisors at the Fremont, California plant routinely made lewd comments and gestures to female employees, and that the company failed to address complaints. The lawsuit is one of at least 7 pending in California state court to make similar claims against Tesla. Kaus is presiding over 5 more of those cases. Tesla did not immediately respond to a request for comment on Tuesday. David Loa, lawyer for Barraza, called the decision a victory for public accountability. Because of this ruling, Tesla will be judged by a jury of Mrs. Barraza's peers in a public courtroom, Lowe said in a statement. Along with pending sexual harassment claims, Tesla is facing separate lawsuits accusing it of tolerating widespread race discrimination at its plants. A California judge last month awarded $15 million to a black former factory worker who said he was subjected to racist slurs and graffiti from coworkers. So yeah, Tesla
taking the old, policies of those emerald slave mines and just putting it into Tesla.
I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me? But when I found out that Bill Gates was shorting Tesla stock, I don't know why I didn't immediately go and do the fucking same. Because clearly that motherfucker knows.
Oh God, yeah, he's
Tesla has been fucking. I mean, its fucking stock prices are going in the fucking toilet. It's like besieged by 1,000,001 fucking controversies. There have been
it's so good. It's so juicy. Watching the Tesla bubble pop is so nice.
Are fucking not doing
well.
well.
It's on fire. Like that's the biggest thing that's hurt them.
Motherfucking shit. Where the guy was, his Tesla caught fire, and then the fucking, doors locked.
So they had to break the window to get him out.
And then all the Tesla fanboys are like, actually, there's like a little string or something you could pull in this weird place that would open the door. It's like, yeah, but who the fuck...
Who knows that shit? What the fuck? Oh my god, what a bunch of Tesla retards.
Panicking. But
god damn.
For consumer reliability, Tesla's at the bottom of the fucking pile.
Teslas are so shit. And honestly, whenever I see some dumb fuck, random little, shit, IT lib fucking nerd, driving around over here with those things, I just think, wow, what a fucking maroon. What an idiot.
You know what I saw, TJ?
What?
I saw a Rivian truck.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I'll send you a picture. I actually took a picture of it.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Oh.
Yeah, I think some of these other fucking EV companies that are coming up are honestly going to fucking kick Tesla's fucking ass.
I'm not going to give Elon Musk or Tesla
I might need to invest in some Rivian, too.
Elon Musk is going to be fucking begging for nickels on the street corner and sucking dick in an alleyway in a few years. I don't know.
He better. Fuck Elon Musk. He deserves to be homeless in the bottom of the barrel.
I don't know.
If we have a homeless if we ever have homelessness in this country, just let it be former billionaires that exploited us. Just let it be them.
In favor of painting him as just
let them be denied the social safety nets.
Are there going to be people that come along and perfect this design and make it safer and stuff? Yes. Was Elon Musk the dude that proliferated charging stations across this country to even make something like this possible? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
I feel like in their criticism of Elon Musk, a lot of people ignore the fact that there would be no fucking Rivian if there was no Tesla. Yes, the original light bulb lasted 15 hours or some shit and was a huge fire hazard and shit.
Yeah. Frankly, there'd probably be more competition because Tesla would be gobbling everything up, like the fucking monopoly exploitative fucking shit that it is with Musk.
Thousands of hours, and they'll just stay on forever. LEDs and shit. So, look, yes. Does fucking Tesla suck? Yes. Does Elon Musk suck on a lot of things? Yes.
On pretty much everything.
Would there be a Rivian? Would there be a Lucid without Tesla?
Honestly, yeah,
the
probably.
Infrastructure that Tesla installed all over the fucking country and all over Europe and shit? No.
Honestly, I don't necessarily buy that.
Fucking be going full EV without that type of investment.
I mean, Lucid.
I can't deny it, but I still don't fucking like the son of a bitch, and I still think Tesla is a fucking shitball company. I don't know why it was the one that fucking broke through the fucking barrier. I'm glad it did, but now it's time for it to wither on the vine and let fucking superior companies take it over.
It did.
Seriously.
It did because of Elon Musk.
I want my Lucid to start booming already, damn it.
Because you know what? No matter what you fucking say about Elon Musk, he has, the ability to generate fucking,
interest.
Interest and the love of,
because he's a PR whore.
Fucking clique.
Which has honestly become more of a boon on him, more so than a benefit.
Dude, there was a guy. You want some Vosh derangement syndrome? I'll give you one. There was a dude that came on Vosh's show and kept saying clique. which is the proper pronunciation of the fucking word. It's not
There's
click, it's
actually, like, I don't want to argue with you, but it's actually proper both fucking ways. It's one of those words
it's one of those, well, it's one of those words that so many people used wrong that eventually the dictionary just threw its hands up and
You
said,
can look
"All
at
right,
it
fine." But the
you
proper
can look at it that way. You can look at it that way, or
I look at it the way as Paul does.
I mean,
Click,
whatever.
click.
The pronunciation
It doesn't matter.
of a lot of shit that you say used to be something like Staffordshire Winston or some shit. Like, it's just like language evolves, and
It does.
call it
Like,
pronunciation if you want.
language adapts. Like, oh my god.
Well, you know what?
Click, click, who cares?
But the point is, even if you fucking say click is a acceptable alternative or whatever
It
the
is.
fuck,
It
even
is,
if you
according to
say that, which
Merriam-Webster.
I think is anarchy and fucking
Back in the fucking
bedlam,
90s,
but whatever.
we called it a click. There was not. It was. This is not some new thing.
People are wrong. Because they're wrong. They just don't. They look at the word and they're like, "Oh, click." It's
How are
not
they
click.
wrong when
That's not wrong.
language
What the
is
fuck?
Constantly changing and constantly evolving.
It changes
to, mean
to
new things.
accommodate the stupidity of people who can't pronounce fucking words. But
No, it changes to accommodate the
then it did,
natural
but it's pronounced
drift of
clique.
culture.
It's pronounced clique. That's the proper pronunciation. And you know he got made fun of for saying clique, but it's pronounced clique. Anyway, I was
Okay,
saying
that's
something.
fine, but you can.
I was saying
but
something
people
else, but I
also-
got distracted by my own fucking
People understand.
shit there.
But people understand both uses, both
Oh,
ways to pronounce it.
I was talking about how the clique of Musk fanboys that just like no matter what he's like.
The clique of Musk fanboys.
I love his
The
Musk.
cult. It's not even a
Musk
clique.
of Musk.
It's a fucking cult. It's a fucking cult of anarcho-capitalist fucking whack job freakazoids that think that he's gonna be the savior of humanity when he's more of a fucking detriment to it.
It's cult. Like if he did anything right, it's that he got fucking electric vehicles he popularized. I don't think he didn't invent the electric vehicle. He certainly didn't.
Electric vehicles have been around since the fucking
But
70s.
yeah,
It's
people
just that
that
the
fucking
fossil fuel
believe
industry
in
stifled a lot of
I will
research
tell
and
you
the
this.
funding for it
I will
at the
tell you
time.
this, dude.
Yeah.
And now, it's only now that we're starting to
The
see
next
it
time we're
more
on vacation
proliferated.
together in a random little fucking beach bum town, and there's 2,000 Teslas in town for a meetup.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't drive anywhere. I went to the doctor yesterday, passed by 4 Teslas. Counted 4 Teslas just on the road from where my house is to my doctor's office. Every time I'm on the fucking road to go somewhere, like when I was on the road going all the way up to Seattle and back recently, Tesla after Tesla after Tesla.
It's so
I think
annoying. It's
the
ridiculous.
stock is taking a fucking tank. Maybe you guys are right, but I think that like Tesla's out of this. They got to the market first.
I'm not saying
got
first.
to
have
the
first mover.
market.
They have what's called first mover advantage.
I'm not saying Tesla's
Right.
done as a company. I see Teslas all the time, even here. I see them all over the country.
Yeah,
So,
they'll
no, I
still
don't
be
think Tesla's
around,
dead as a company.
unfortunately.
Their stock's taking a hit, but I don't think they're going out of business. or
I think they're
anything.
dead.
And there's gonna be new
I think they're gonna
innovations
be
and
dead.
new cars that comes out.
I'm more with TJ. I really hope that they die.
Ford,
Tesla needs to
where
be
there's gonna
abolished.
People that always go, I'm gonna go get a Tesla.
Please get bankrupt. Please go bankrupt, Tesla.
It's not going away.
Let
as a
competition
company.
flourish and actually have like all these other EV cars,
I mean, they
you
can
know,
improve the way they do
have their
with
day.
their staff and their company. I mean, there's obviously a chance.
They're
for them to do
fundamentally
that.
better
I don't think
anyway.
that's precluded. I mean,
Better products
laying
at the end of the
blame
day.
at Elon Musk's feet. It's just because of the fact that he's been so intimately involved in that company. I mean, now does he run it day to day? I don't actually know what his actual involvement in the company is. I mean, it seems like he does a lot of other shit. So I would imagine probably not as much as people think, if we're being honest.
No, and like honestly, it's just like I hear a lot of people talking about how like Teslas are done, and every time I hear that, I just think about how many Teslas I saw yesterday when I drove to the store or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't agree with that.
Oh,
It's like,
verily, I
there's
say unto thee, people say the carriage will be replaced by this automobile contraption, but I see hundreds of horse-drawn carriages everywhere I go.
Okay, but they're
Horse-drawn carriages be everywhere, from what I see, and methinks it will go nowhere.
anachronism. It's not an
Proceeds to fucking steam cars and the Model T Fords and shit.
Compared to Tesla's
The
It's like, yeah.
The supercharger's not an anachronism yet, TJ. It's
Yeah,
not
it
as
is.
much as you want
It
to be.
is. Oh, it's such
Okay.
an anachronism. I'll fucking do a whole video on it. I'll do a whole video on it. I'll do a whole
Lucid-
video. I'll do a whole ass
Lucid
video on
seems
how it's an
to be
antiquated.
network.
It might as well be a
And
fucking.
guess what Tesla's doing, TJ? They're actually going to
What?
make their network compatible with all these other cars, all these other manufacturers, so they're going to still be making money on the charging shit.
They've already started doing it. They've already made.
I mean, they've already done that. Oh my god, TJ.
They've already.
I kind of hope TJ's right, though, but, I mean, Sky's more likely right about that
I want
one.
to see the video. I want to see the video.
I want to see the video, though. TJ better fucking make
They've
it.
already allowed these
Holds feet to the fire on that one.
and have taken no legal action against them, and cars that aren't Teslas can pull up to Tesla chargers, hook up an intermediary little thing to the Tesla charging port, and then to their little fucking charging hose, and use a Tesla charging point.
Musk has even said they're going to add support for all those other vehicles, like the Mach-E, which is the Ford one, the Rivian, the Lucid.
Probably because they know that their fucking days as an auto manufacturer are fucking done.
If anything, they're probably going to be, if anything, likelihood that Tesla will probably just convert themselves into being like, a charging station type of company where they support other electric car companies by having, charging ports and shit like that, like charging stations, like kind of equivalent of like a gas station or some shit. Like, if anything, I could see Tesla being kind of readapted to that versus, being a car company. And in that way, I think would actually be legit good. And I think Scotty might be right on that sense, but, I mean, I think that also still means that TJ would be right that, yeah, at least as a car company, they would be probably likely dead. They wouldn't be able to they wouldn't, I don't know the likelihood of them being able to recover once, Lucid, Rivian, and all these other ones, start becoming more commonplace.
I'm literally looking right now. The Model S, which is the expensive Tesla, all dual motor, all-wheel drive. If I want to order one today, right now, so let's say Scotty wants to buy one.
Order it now, yeah.
$91,000.
Don't bother.
I'm looking. Estimated delivery is between November 2022 and February 2023.
All right.
There's a wait, TJ.
Yeah, of course there's a wait. Because for now, they're the only ones that are fucking cranking EVs out at a fucking high enough production rate. But
and Joe Rogan is on his show.
GM's doing it.
When better
Volkswagen's doing it. That's not true, TJ.
No, but
Joe Rogan on his show.
Legacy auto manufacturers are not going to be the fucking ones that are the game changers in this fucking industry.
Volkswagen's the biggest
oh my
manufacturer
goodness.
in the world.
Really?
I'm loving this fucking debate that they're having.
The ones that fucking do it. What?
I want to slap you upside your head.
On Joe Rogan's show, every chance he gets, he's given a free fucking commercial for his Tesla Plaid Special Edition, talking about how powerful it is.
That's what I'm saying. For now, it's a status symbol. But people are going to look back at that shit 10, 20 years from now and be like, oh, man, that's going to look like fucking...
Because honestly, basically, that's what Tesla is. It's like some sort of, like, upper-class, like, bougie status symbol for people.
A lot of them don't go away. They just become blue cars.
And if anything, eventually, over time, it ends up just becoming, like, a worn-out little toy novelty for them, and they go into the next, big status symbol thing.
Ford Model T or whatever, you were really joining the future and shit, and you really had a lot of money because they were expensive as fuck. And now a Ford is like, oh, I got a Ford Probe or a fucking Ford Fiesta because I can't get around,
Yeah.
Like, that's what Tesla's sitting.
Yeah,
that's what its first to the post or whatever. Hold on. That's what its first to the post advantage gives it. It has a market share now. It's trendy as fuck for rich and well-to-do people to have a fucking Tesla. And we just talked about this, too, in the fucking Grease Trap, did we not? Where we talked about how, like, people envy the people. So what's going to happen? Tesla's going to start making cheaper fucking cars. You're going to get the Tesla Fiesta and the Tesla Probe and the Tesla Taurus.
And the Tesla Pinto.
More affordable for average people. And they're going to go like, oh, look, I got a Tesla now. And Tesla's going to become the Kia of fucking cars. They're going to sell a bunch of units. They're going to do really well. They're not going to crash, dude.
And even if they don't, I mean, it's like Apple. Like, Apple's a niche company. And it's even more expensive products. Like, yeah, dude, you'll get so much criticism from Apple products.
Damn.
The iPhone
Paul Scotty just being a reality of the shit.
It's, the specs on it are garbage. You can buy a way better.
Yeah, meanwhile, everybody's...
At this rate, I just want, like, all these other fucking electric car companies, start flourishing and shit. Because at that rate, there'll actually be more flourishment of, more advancement onto this type of technology. Because a lot of these other electric car companies just provide better products and better vehicles that have better battery life and other shit. So it's like all in all, I mean, it makes sense for them to just fucking like go in and like, hey, let's try to like pump these things out, which they are. But obviously because of Tesla and shit, they have a major fucking grip on the entire fucking industry and shit, because they're pretty much like the equivalent of an Edison Standard Oil Company style monopoly. They own a whole swath of that market. There's not much of an incentive for them to be, pumping a lot of that shit out, at least right now, because, I mean, they could just, maximize the profit, just putting out shit fucking products with their fucking Tesla cars that catch on fire and lock the doors on you. It's like, Jesus Christ.
I mean, and I don't even like, here's the thing. I feel like TJ represents a little bit. He's not as bad as a lot of the people that I deal with. But there's this, like, group of people that want to go like, everything Elon Musk ever did and everything his name is attached to is total fucking you worthless garbage, blah, 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 blah. And that's just not true. Now, I'm not a big fan of his fucking politics. Not a big fan of his public life or his statements or his crypto bro bullshit. I got a lot of problems with Elon Musk. I think he's pretty fucking stupid. I think his claims that he's self-made when he grew up with fucking slave-mined African emeralds in his pockets, handing them out to people and shit is fucking pretty ridiculous. You know, so I don't like the guy. But to deny the fact that he, managed to be the first person to actually popularize full EV. And make it possible, because part of the problem with full EV
I don't think anyone's denying that though.
Station, and that was in your.
They wouldn't have an entire monopoly on the fucking industry if that was the case.
You didn't really take the fucking EV to the hotel, too far away. Elon Musk was the dude that put fucking supercharger stations all up and down the coasts and started doing it all up and down the highways and making it possible for people to take these cars from one end of the country to the next. So he popularized the electric vehicle. You can't take that from him. And it wasn't even really him. You can't take that from his company.
You know what?
It wasn't like he designed the whole thing.
You know what? I'm going to take it from him. He didn't even do that. It didn't even happen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm taking
Based, TJ.
It's gone. I took it. So I want
Based. Honestly, I agree with it. Like, yes, take it from him. Because even so, he doesn't even fucking deserve it, as far as I'm concerned. It's like, cause really, he's not even the one who fundamentally, was at, work, making sure it all got done and shit. He just, has like a fucking brand name attached to it, just so he can make sure that he maximizes his fucking profit off of the hard work of researchers, engineers, and, the people that could easily go into, other different companies that, would start up with or without Tesla. Like, I definitely don't buy the idea. It's like, oh, without Tesla, you wouldn't have blah, blah, blah. It's like, he thinks that's be a little bullshit. Like, you can have all these other companies like Lucid, Rivian, and shit like that when, without Tesla being there and shit. Like, cause they, if anything, the people that would formerly either be a part of Tesla or otherwise and shit would just, start up these companies just on their own. So it's just like, either way, I mean, it's most likely probably still be around. Maybe not under the same names. Maybe under different names. But either way. But anyway, got a little fun trip that I want to go off and do, but need to hit one of my friends up, see if he's still down. But nonetheless, till next time, which will be most likely later tonight, I'll see y'all then.